What is going on, all my wonderful people out there? It is your boy Dread Zero back here today to talk to you about the new Guilty Gear Strive patch that came out yesterday, version 1.24. Honestly, this patch came at a time where, the game was getting a little dry, a little stale. You kept seeing the same three characters running amok: Nago, Ram, and Happy Chaos, if you didn't know. But if you play the game, you 100% know what these characters were just doing and terrorizing people online. I won't say that we can particularly expect Arxis to, completely change the game, because that's not what they do. They also don't really revert changes that they have made. Let's get right into the video. Okay, so general things. Added support for cross-platform features. So basically, I think they are adding cross-platform for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 with Steam. So now you will be able to play your friends on different consoles, which is honestly pretty huge. So having cross-platform come to the game will not only give us more people to play, which will create a bigger population pool and extend the longevity of the game, but you will also be able to play with your friends, which is a huge part of fighting games that I feel like sometimes gets left out. And they will show you what player is where. So you got PlayStation on the left on the sole player, and then you got Steam on the right, I'm pretty sure, and it'll display that. So that's super dope. That's super cool. So you can report other players now. That's gonna be really interesting and toxic because one, I think it is good that we can report players. I'm not saying that is not good, because there are some people online that say hateful things, that say things that they shouldn't do. But if you're reporting someone because you lost and you got teabagged, honestly, you just kind of need to get some tougher skin. That's just how fighting games go, and that's just how they've always been. And that's how games in general go. Like, people teabag people that they beat all the time. So please don't abuse this, because if you start abusing this, it means that the people that actually need to be reported, nothing will probably get done to them, because all the reports will be oversaturated by bullcrap. So try not to abuse that. I think muted just means blocked, basically. So if you block someone, you can't watch their stuff. I mean, it's a two-way street. That's pretty much how it goes. And it will now, their block players will now be displayed in the lobby on red in your member list. So that's cool. So if you run into a block player, they'll show you, and it'll literally say block the opponent on the game. So that's cool. That's cool. It now shows connection strength, so that is really good. The rollback, this game's rollback is really amazing. It honestly feels like as close to LAN as possible if you have good internet connection, if you're wired in, or if your Wi-Fi is ridiculously superb. But honestly, Wi-Fi is always a little shaky. But the fact that you can display this connection means that you don't have to suffer matches. You no longer have to suffer and deal with like unreactable mix-ups because their internet connection, or get rolled back to hell. Rank Tower adjusted rules for assigned floor changes to make it easier to match players of the same skill level. Preventing players from falling below a certain floor even after repeated losses based on certain input techniques and floor previously reached has been eased. So basically they're saying you can more easily go down below your floor, so it's easier to get kicked off of floors, which I think is good, because right now Guilty Gear is in a weird state with the rank system, because and I think the rank system is really unique. It's not necessarily my favorite. Like, I prefer the typical bronze, silver, gold, and you keep trying to get the diamond and masters. Like, that's what I'm about. But they tried to do something different, and I commend them for that. Like, they tried to, do something that wasn't ordinary. However, it did create a situation to where most of the players are between floor 10 and Celestial, and you got your 10.5 players that bounce back and forth. And so really you can have anyone in Celestial. Like, you can have someone that just beat their challenges, that just got into the Celestial floor for like the first or the second time, against people who are constantly in Celestial, have like the little red aura, which means they're very high ranking, and you're gonna get smoked. So tension gauge. Tension gauge now increases more the higher character risk level. Oh, so basically if your risk level is high, you will now gain more tension. And then this increases the reward for successfully making out of a dangerous situation and going on the offensive. So it looks like they buffed defense right here, which, I mean, it's fine. I think playing. So I play Potemkin, and so I'm not really sure how I technically feel about this, just because Pot already takes a bunch of risk on his pressure, and if I don't think it's hard to block Pot, except for the commandment grab mix up. That is nasty. But if you successfully block someone that like doesn't really have access to a lot of like really secure, solid pressure, now you're just gonna smoke them afterwards. Which I have to see that in games. Tension gauge rate for attacker no longer increases when the opponent blocks attacks at their max level at max. So basically they're saying here that tension gauge would increase the more you basically continued your block string as the opponent on the offensive. So now you no longer gain tension once the person at risk, max risk, which I'm fine with because technically the next hit that you get at max risk on your opponent is a full-fledged counter hit, like level 3 counter hit. So you're still going to get the damage, and by that time you would have already built enough meter anyway. So I don't think you necessarily need to keep building meter up. Yeah, overall though, I think that is I think that's a good change. Let's see. The rate of risk and level depletion over time is now faster. That's great. Because I think after you successfully defend, like there was a point where you would still get completely blown up after you escape the situation, which I think you shouldn't be punished for. But here they also saying that risk level now resets when Psych Burst is activated. Psych Burst is often used to escape dangerous situations, obviously, you know. When you use with high risk level though, the player will still be in a dangerous situation even when successful. I think that's important because if you successfully burst, then I think all that just happened should be completely wiped away because I think it's a clean slate. Now, they're also saying I think that the risk level will deplete even if your burst is not successful, which you still get a punish if you bait the burst or if you do a burst save combo and they burst. You can still punish them. It's just the damage and the level, and you will no longer get a counter hit. Maybe I'm not sure. I gotta see how that works, but I still think people should get punished for they should still get punished for missing their burst with that risk. That's just me. Hurt box of 6p. Let's see. So 4p, 6p. Basically 6p is head invulnerable, so upper body invulnerable. It's you're basically get out of jail free card and anti-air. The way 6ps work in this game are not distributed evenly. For example, Nagoriyuki prior to this patch will move forward and his hitbox or his 6p would be low, so he can still 6p lows, and 6ps are supposed to lose to low. So changing the height of the hurt box as the attack comes out for them is now the same. So everybody's 6p is now the same. The height of the hurt box was the same for all characters at the lowest point in attack, but the hurt box height during startup varied between characters. So, I mean, I'm not sure. Does that mean that they made everybody 6p lower or higher? We got to see, but I like that everybody 6p is the same. I don't think people 6p should be different because it's just a universal move that's supposed to help you with high hitting attacks and jump ins. Base damage scaling has been added to attacks that did not have it previously with the exception of certain moves. This addresses the problem of some characters having moves used in similar ways but with varying reward depending on whether or not the move has base damage scaling. Some moves such as close standing S still do not have base damage scaling, meaning they can lead into major damage just as before. They talked about it when they released Sin with IGN at that event. They were basically saying they're tweaking base damage scaling, and I was nervous that it was an overall thing, and it looks like it is. And so basically, you will get damage scaling on attacks that do not start with close standing S, so your close slash. Characters that start most of their pressure and get most of their combos with close slash aren't really affected here, but characters that use things such as 6K or 2K or anything like that, 5P, and get combos consistently or inconsistently, maybe even, I think they are affected the most here. And what I'm nervous about is there are characters in this game such as Millia, Bridget, Chipp, even in certain situations that like they already don't kind of get damage, and so if they are getting their little bit of damage that they have off of other things besides close standing slash, close slash, I am a little nervous that that is a nerf that they did not need. However, as anything new that comes to a game, we have to see how it plays out. However, I'm a little nervous about that. I'm not gonna lie. Proximity requirement. Let's see. So proximity requirement for an attack to connect. When a proximity requirement is added to an attack, this means it no longer connects unless within defined range of the opponent's character position. This range of proximity requirement depends on the attack. So this is what it looked like before. So this is without the proximity requirement. They're using pot and emo. So basically, pot used to be able to hit this projectile and it would explode, and Eno will still be over there. So this might actually be a nerf. At first glance, I thought it was a buff to normal, long-standing normals, because that means that the hurt box isn't up here, right? But it looks like actually it might be a nerf, because now Eno can get in because her projectile isn't destroyed, or So for example, it went from you being able to destroy it here, it exploding. Even though you took a little bit of damage, Eno is still over to the right. So if she's still over to the right, means that she has no way to get in at this moment without using stroke, or like flying over and taking huge risk. And even stroke is a risk at that point. And so now it's looking like you can't destroy this projectile, and it'll hit you uh, in your base body right here. So basically, what you're saying is if you use this attack, it'll go through your body and whiff punish you and allow Eno to get in. So that's like a buff to Eno, basically. Special moves with retreating movement. These moves now cause tension balance to deplete and negative value to increase, similar to backdashes. So back Fukio, Axl, Rainwater, Potemkin, Mega Fist. Listen, I'm not trying to downplay it here, dude, but Pot needs help. Why do they consistently keep messing with Megafist? Last patch, they made the damage from Megafist lower, and now you're saying back Megafist, which is one of his like only mechanics to really get out of pressure, and I still think it gets smoked a lot of times, now causes negative penalty if used too much. I get it, they don't want you spamming back Megafist, and honestly, it is brain dead. I'm not gonna lie. Back Megafist is brain dead, and it's a good move. However, it is one of the few good moves that he has, so now we just gotta use it more wisely. And I also wonder how that's gonna affect Kara back Megafist combo. So if you're Kara back Mega Fisting in a combo and you do it like 3 times, is that going to give you negative penalty? That would be complete ass. So Badguy extended the range of standing HS, makes his offense using far standing as even more potent. While it is now more challenging for him to get huge rewards from mid-range, the changes to Gunflame make him better at poking mid-range. So they decreased the startup of Gunflame. They decreased the active frames to make up for the fact that it's now faster, and increased movement speed of the projectile. So basically, it starts up faster, it moves faster, but it doesn't have as many active frames to catch people out. And in return, they decrease the attack level of 6S and no longer launches the opponent on grounded counter hit. So, and standing HS has expanded frontal hitbox. They do that to try to make it a little bit more disjointed. That's fine, I guess. I'm not sure how I feel about this. His neutral has definitely changed, because I think they want you to use Gunflame more. And so basically, I think instead of using this in neutral, you will now use Gunflame to do more instead of just block strings. That's going to be interesting. I don't think he got a lot of changes, but they typically do that for Soul. So let's see what they did for Kai. In addition to Guard Crush effect to Sacred Edge during Shock State, the Dragon install allows him to maintain his offense regardless of a range. They keep on buffing Dragon install, bro. It's so funny. Like, they want Kai players to use Dragon install so bad, but let me tell you why Dragon install will never be a core component of a Kai player's gameplay. One, you don't get it until you're at least, I think it's like 25% of your health. So the way, and with the damage changes, there might be more opportunity, a better opportunity to use it. Like it used to be, because damage was so high, by the time you got to 25% health, you were pretty much dead if you got hit. And so it kind of made that like not really usable in my opinion. But like now with the damage change, you might have more opportunity, so maybe that's fine. But they keep buffing Dragon install, so that's really interesting. I kind of glance over Dragon install buffs and the Dragon Install buff that I think that Kai needs is for him to be able to use it at a little bit greater of health. So instead of 25% health, maybe like 30-40% health. I could be talking my ass. I don't know with that, but that's what I think needs to happen. Maybe 35% could be good. But they added Guard Crush effect on Sacred Edge in Dragon Install. So when you're in Dragon Install, automatically you get Guard Crush for that, like super. That's like basically his projectile, but longer, like a sword. In Shock State, in Sacred Edge now Guard Crush. So basically, Kai has to use meter for his Guard Crushes when other characters like Goldlewis, Potemkin, Happy Chaos has access to Guard Crush without using meter. So yeah, I don't think Kai really got much change. The change that he needed. That's unfortunate. Moving on to May. Mr. Dolphin has less recovery now when it connects with the opponent. This makes S version less risky and the H version more plus, making both more viable than before. The extra distance for forward jump also makes her aerial approaches more potent. Dude, her aerial approaches were already stupid arcs. They were already freaking insane. And you saying you made them more potent? Bro, that is complete madness. What kind of clownery, bro? They increased movement distance of her forward jump. So as a pot player, that means using Heat Knuckle is going to be very, very situational when it already was. Maybe even unusable. I have to see. That's kind of crazy. Increase active frames for reduced recovery for her dive kick. I think I think that's like her dive type kick. Increase the active frames and reduce the recovery, so it might be harder to punish her on that. Oh wait, no. This one, jumping down HS, is her dive kick, I believe. Both of these moves are stupid anyway, so now this one triggers a counter hit effect, which means you're gonna get blown up for it. Mr. Dolphin horizontal, reduce recovery on hit and block, so that means it's spam time. Arisu Wagwa, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, that was not the word. Sparkle. Hitbox now remains after the projectile hits the ground. I'm pretty sure that's her beach ball. Basically, even though the ball hits the ground, the hitbox will remain there for at least like a second or two. Oh, they juiced her. They juiced her. She's gonna be really annoying. Axl, wow, they got a lot of changes for my boy here. So, block. I think they're trying to give him ways to deal with dash block, which is what he's really weak to. So basically, like say Giovanna, Chipp, especially Chipp, because Chipp can like punish this man super hard for throwing out a normal, pretty much almost like at any range except for like damn near full screen. And so now they're basically giving him ways to deal with dash block. So if you throw out a standing P and they block it, even insta block, you can now special cancel it, which is really good. That gives him a way to deal with that. I think that's really strong. Crouch standing HS, the opponent will now be in a crouching state on grounded counter hit. That's really good. It means more combo potential. Jumping P can now be special canceled on hit or block until the recovery ends. Jumping K, decrease horizontal blowback. That's good. So a lot of times people try to punish rainwater and block strings because you can easily just jump up and punish. But now if you bait it and hit jump K, you'll have an easier time using Axl Bomber, which is really good because sometimes it didn't connect from a certain distance. So it has less blowback distance horizontally, which is good. Jumping D now launches opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. That's really good too. Basically Jumping D is a core part of his kit. Like you use it so much, and so for it to launch an opponent higher, that means you have more chances for more Axl Bombers, or even an Axl Bomber starter if you couldn't get one before. So that's good. Winter Mentis, adjusted blowback when used as part of a combo. I think that's good. That's good. You can do more things. Snail has increased knockback. That's good because if you use Snail, that move is really punishable. So that's good. Rainwater now draws the opponent hit on block. And so basically the tension gauge nerf, where if you retreat, it causes negative value if you do it too much. that might counteract this. I'm not sure how I feel about people because I use it as a retreating thing. I don't know if I necessarily use it for pressure, so I think they want him to change. I don't know. We'll see. Chipp. The opponent. So basically, Alpha Blade now sends the opponent flying toward Chipp. Wow. Wow. The reduced starter for Senshu means that it can now combo from Rokusai. I think that's his overhead. I'm pretty sure that's his overhead. Are you telling me that he can combo from? So it's like almost like they reverted the change that they made to like overheads as part of Rekka's, I think. Now launches Alpha Blade now launches opponent higher and increase, so more combo potential. That's crazy. So what I said earlier about Chipp like having special like circumstances that increase that for his combo, so that's good. Increased horizontal blowback distance, aerial alpha blade. So now they are close to you when you do aerial alpha blade before. I mean, because you can kind of keep your pressure before, right? But now it's like pretty much secure if you do that and they block it, unless they are insane. All right, the moment we have all been waiting for. Potemkin. The additional range for pokes such as far standing S and standing HS improve his mid-range game. Hammerfall also allows for more aggressive approaches as the timing Potemkin can withstand attacks is now faster. So basically they decrease the attack startup. They decrease the armor startup for Hammerfall. So we have to see what that looks like because armor activates at frame 9, which has always been really slow to me, and he can't really use it to like deal with stuff, I think. So to say that now the armor activates faster, let's see how that looks in game. But I think that's a good change. At close range, the faster starter for FDB makes it harder for opponent to escape by jumping. Yes. So when you go into 6K from your 2P, close slash, whatever, people always used to be able to freaking mash on flick as part of your block string. So if they increase the starter for that, that means you will get a counter hit. You will get a counter hit, and it'll condition people to stop jumping. That is really, really good. I am really excited for that change. That's like the first one I'm seeing that I'm like, okay, this can actually be a game changer because I hate Pot's block strings because he's taking a risk every time he does that string. So that's really good. Far standing egg expand on fronted hitbox. Thank you, because I think that move is ass. I don't care what anybody says. His arm literally goes up. Can you see it? His arm literally goes up like that and misses people. So I think that's good. Standing HS was already really good. I'm not gonna lie. I think the startup was really slow. However, I think what you got in return to keep people away. But the recovery was not that great depending on who you were fighting. So like Chipp could like punish it. But I think that's good. I mean, it's not going to hurt to expand the frontal hitbox. I don't think that was necessarily the problem with it, but that's fine. They're trying to get his neutral a little bit better. Sweep has reduced recovery. That is really good because his sweep goes really far. And so to have reduced recovery on whiff, that's really good. That's a game changer, I think, and you can throw it out more. Heat Knuckle now draws the opponent in on guard crush. It's over. It might be over for y'all. 100% it might be over for y'all. Let me tell you why. When Potemkin puts you in a guard crush state from Heat Knuckle, it's supposed to be a 50-50. He will either go for a car command grab, or he's going to try to do something else, like maybe you won't get close slash because of how far they are away. But now, if it brings them in, you might be able to get close slash. Your 2K might be able to connect, which is really, really good. Which means that this mix-up is even more potent, which means it will encourage people to stop jumping, which means you can throw out that freaking Kara Pop Buster, which is what you really want in the end because it does so much damage. So that is actually pretty freaking fire, and it might be over between Flick and Heat Knuckle. That it might be over. So that backward Mega Fist now has that. I have to see how that. I'm not necessarily mad about back Mega Fist getting you closer to negative value and decreases your tension balance. I'm more if that effect still does it in combo, because we all know that Pot's combos, mostly his damage come from Pop Buster. and Kara back Mega Fist combo. So if you are saying that you will get negative balance for doing that combo, that kind of is trash. But yeah, overall, I mean, I don't know if he's necessarily juiced. I don't know, because they keep trying to buff his offense. Be and honestly, that's fine. Like, I get it. Like, this is the playstyle that I chose. This is the playstyle that other Potemkin players chose. They don't necessarily want your neutral to be amazing because of the rewards you get for putting someone in a 50-50 situation with your command grab. So I get it. Overall, though, I think it is at least he is better. I will say, at the very least, Pot is a better character. Faust. The increased knockback on standing HS sweep allows Faust to create more distance for the opponent. I mean, that's good because I think his sweep was really punishable. The reduced starter from mix makes it easier to use in combos. That's good. Apology Man will probably be really excited. I think I seen him on Twitter saying that Faust might actually really be good. I don't really know what any of these changes mean for him. I don't play Faust, quite honestly. 6k reduced recovery, probably for pressure purposes. The increased attack of tandem top makes it less risky for Millia to use in strings during neutral. Wait. I think 6k is her overhead. That just hit me, bro. Oh. Oh. Damn. That's going to be pain. Standing HS now bounces opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. Okay, that's good for her pressure. Decreased attack startup. Also good for her pressure. Reduce and probably good for her to get out of defense because she doesn't have life. Although you rarely put Millia in a defensive situation. It's either like you're hitting her or she is freaking twerking on you. So yeah, she still needs help. Sweep reduce recovery. That is going to be really, really good for her because if her sweep has reduced recovery, that means that she can now set up her set play a little bit better, a little bit faster, and it gives the opponent less time to react. So that's good. Ground throw, frame advantage, and distance after successful throw is now the same against all characters. So before, when she threw somebody, the frame advantage she got varied between character, and honestly, that's really annoying. That's one thing about Guilty Gear that always bothered me is because of like lightweight, heavyweight, normal weight, and all this other stuff, size and all that. Combos and like setups and stuff were changed and varied throughout different characters. So I like that they're trying to make it more consistent and neutral. That's really good for her, so she doesn't really think about that. Turbo Fall. Millia can now move to the other side of the opponent even when they're in the corner. So basically that move where she goes through you when she's in the air, dude, oh my god, they're really trying to increase her mix-up game. Zato 1. I hate this character. Mostly because it's Pot's worst matchup. But, you know, let's see what they did to him. The ability to move only Zato or Eddie during Break the Law opens up new. They really, so they basically separated them. Like now you can move both of them. That mix up is going. His mix up was already free. His mix up was already free, bro. Oh my god, it's gonna be such an oh. Oh, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm dodging y'all, bro. I'm dodging y'all's auto players, dude. I'm not playing y'all. Sorry. Ramlethal. Okay, so I am looking for Ram to basically get the axe. Straight up. So let's see. Crouching HS makes it easier to go into highly damaging combos, making her more threatening at close range. I think y'all missed the point, Arxis. I really did. I think y'all missed the point. Um, She is deadly at mid and close range. So jumping D now works better as a jump in due to the additional hitbox behind. As Iralumo has potent offense tool in any situation, the damage situation on hit has been reworked. Wait, is that her Rekka? They decrease the damage on it. Third hit, the opponent can now recover after landing. Okay. While I'm not keen and happy about these changes on the hitbox and herbox for those two moves, the fact that her Rekka got smoked, like, That was an essential core part of her gameplay. So peace out to y'all Ram players, dude. GG's. Leo Whitefang. The adjustments to knockback and blowback for 6k and the increased range for, I don't know how to say that word, makes them more viable in combos and I don't even know what that is. And forming strong block string sweep. Launching the opponent higher. So basically, what they did to his sweep, so his sweep actually is airborne, which is really good, which means it was really hard to punish. So they made it more have more recovery on block, but now in return in this patch they're saying even though it has more recovery on block, the reward for doing it is now better. So now it can launch opponent higher, meaning that you can get a combo from it. So he's essentially unchanged, but that's a good change. Thank you, Arxes. They're giving her more combo potential. I think Giovanna is fine. Like I don't think they needed to like buff her in a sense of like her game plan or like giving. I don't even think they should have gave her her plus on block move back because it's still an overhead. So y'all gonna have more fun. That's all I'll say. Anji, the low tier god. All right, standing HS now launches the opponent on ground to hit. So they basically said we're taking the launch from your overhead from Fujin and we're gonna give it to your standing HS. That's fine. That's really good for y'all. Making it possible to combo from Fujin into Rin, which is good, and then go into Okizumi off Isukutobi. I think that's the hop. So that's really strong. Because I thought, truthfully, Anji's hop is ass right now. Prior to this patch, so the fact that y'all can get Oki off of the hop, that's really good. It makes it useful because it was a huge risk for y'all to be doing that, and y'all pretty much got smoked every time. Nagiha gives Anji more of an advantage now due to blowback adjustment, making it easier for him to maintain an offense. Oh, I hate this character too. Not gonna lie. I hate her. Damn, do I just hate every character? Am I a real Guilty Gear player? She can now jump cancel at the beginning of her hover dash. That's good because that means you could do more mix-up stuff. Because her hover dash is pretty. I think it was a pretty big risk doing that without the projectile. This will allow her to move greater distance forward than with the standard jump. So like, there's gonna be some stuff going on, some mix-up stuff. Combined with the reduction to sultry performance, landing recovery, she now has a greater arsenal of approach options in midair. So basically, her dash can be jump canceled now and it's sped up, which is good. The motion will now be interrupted if backwards direction, so you can stop it easier. Antidepressant scale, added proximity required for attack to connect. So that's her, I believe that's her projectile. So that was that buff to her I was telling you earlier. So now she can follow behind it easier because you can't destroy it from long range. Stroke to big tree. Let's see what they did to this. The SNHS version. Reduce hurt box before movement begins. So basically it's going to be harder to stop the startup of it, I think. The upper hurt box of the attack steadily decreases as the move comes out as before. This change reduced. So I think the nerf to heavy stroke was unwarranted, honestly. I still think that move is after they nerfed is kind of ass, but overall, I think she's doing good. All we need to know from Goldlewis right here is that drone is fixed. Jackal, I'm gonna be real. I'm not really reading this because I don't know. I don't know what she does anyway. Happy Chaos, dude. Increase attack startup of 6K. So 6K takes longer to start up, but it launches the opponent higher. Now launches. Is that move where he go like that, bruh? It launches the opponent. That move was already ridiculous, dude. Jumping D now draws the opponent in on hit or block. I don't know if that's a nerf for him because I don't know if he wants to be close, but I think that might increase his mix-up potential, which is stupid. At the ready, reduce recovery when activated with no constant. Baiken is more of a threat at close range. Dude, she was already a threat before. What are you talking about? And she can more easily follow up with cross up. Yo, Baiken is smoking us this patch, dude. I might actually play her. I'm not gonna lie. Cause I played Baiken at one point, but I stopped playing her because I got bored. But she's like too gorilla now. Like they remove usage restriction, which I don't exactly know what that means, but I wonder if like she can like move faster after using that because it was kind of stiff after using it, which makes the air one even better. Because like before you use the air to Tamigashi, sorry, to retreat, but now you might be able to use it better as a jump in, not just on your safe jump. So that might be really good. I might be playing her. And they decrease horizontal blowback distance of the latter half of the active frame. So basically, you're not getting pushed back uh, anymore, which I think is really good, especially if you're doing a cross up. So that's ridiculous. Expanded the hitbox of explosion of Kinju, which I think is the gun, and that shit already was a guard crush, I think, and the hitbox was pretty big. So yeah, Baiken's still eating, and I might be playing her. Testament now draws the opponent in on hit or block for crouching HS. Okay. Remove usage restriction for Grave Reaper. Grave Reaper HS. Reduce knockback. Active frames for the first and second hit. So you can now use Grave Reaper back to back. So they are going to be spamming this projectile. That's going to be really annoying. As Pi, I don't know how annoying it's going to be because I can flick that, but yeah, y'all Testament players eating. They looking good. They looking good. Bridget. Bridget. Bridget has more opportunities to launch her offense from neutral due to increased projectile speed, reduced recovery from stop, and dash. She has more potent options available for rolling movement connects. As the changes to knockback and trajectory create less distance with the opponent and leave Bridget at a more of an advantage. So basically, they juiced her with rolling movement. Like now she can do more things from rolling movement and it's faster. And they expanded a lot of her hitboxes for like the command normals. But they also expanded the hurt box. So they don't want her moves to be disjointed, which I think is fine because we need counterplay. Because honestly, if Bridget had complete disjoints, like she would be top tier 100%. They increased her damage of stop and dash. They increased the movement speed of the projectile. So the yo-yo does more damage and it's faster. That's going to smoke a lot of people. And I think it's going to create like a ridiculous, even more ridiculous Oki situation than she already had doing that. Sin has no changes, but I'm gonna tell you one thing, Arxis, please fix Still Growing because that move is completely useless and I have no use for it and I don't think any of the community has use for it. So, but I did wish they would release Sin back in October because that would have given them more time to see his strength in the not only the meta but just in the roster in general. And I think Sin is really underwhelming in terms of character power. I do think he's getting outclassed right now. So we got to see. But you know what? Like, overall, I think this is a pretty decent patch. And I think it's going to shake some things up. I'm really happy about Pot. Like, I don't know exactly how the Hammerfall change is going to be, but the Heat Knuckle one, I'm really excited about. So we got some options. But yeah, dude, I really hope that you guys enjoy this patch when it comes out. I know I'm going to be playing since I didn't get into the Street Fighter beta. I know I'm very salty about that, but yeah, I'm really excited, and I think this patch might shift it up. We'll see. I'm going to see what people are talking about on Twitter, but honestly, I go try it out for yourself. Don't let other people's opinions shift your desire to play. So if you're excited for the patch, be excited and try it out. And so, with that being said, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, as it does help. And I want to grow this community. I think fighting games are super dope. And if you're still here to this point, you probably think they're super dope too. And with that being said, your boy be out. Peace.